Good morning, afternoon, and evening from wherever you are listening. Welcome back to the Breakevens podcast. My name is Corey, and as always, with me is Jack.
Hello.
Jack, round 18 is over, and we are almost at Supercoach finals time. I believe this week for most leagues will be the last head-to-head round before we get into Supercoach finals. It might be next week, might be this week, depending on your structures, but the end is near. Thank you all again for your support. As always, everyone on Twitter, we had a poll up there because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with my last two trades, but we'll go through that anyway. So you can find us on Twitter at BreakevensPod, and we're also on YouTube. Search the Breakevens, and you'll find us there. The same applies for Apple Podcasts. You'll see our logo. Alrighty, in today's podcast, we're going to review last round's games as always, give you a hot and cold. I'll go through the VC and C options this week. We'll discuss our personal teams and how the break-even side is going. So let's get straight into it. Jack, how did you go last week?
I scored. Let me get it up. I scored 2,342.
Yep.
I dropped exactly 20 ranks. So they put me up to 19,000, which is not good. Getting onto my team, I had led the vice captain, and I was able to switch it, which was very good.
Yep.
Jaden Short saw a ton for the first time in about 10 weeks, which was great.
About time, hey?
But then with that, I had the likes of Kelly, who got concussed.
Yep.
Baker had a thinker. My two ruckmen had shockers as well, English and Wits.
Yep.
And Dunkley also had an 80, which wasn't great. But I did bring in Cully last week, who was a replacement for Oliver. He was out with his bump, and he did score a 90 in his debut game. So
he did well.
Very happy with that. Trades, I've done the one.
Yep.
Darcy Cameron to the Bond.
Oh.
I was looking a lot at what ruckman I could get, so I had a ruckman in the forward line being able to switch around, but with the money and the option to get the Bond, it was just too much to say no.
Yeah. Alrighty. So was that all you had to say?
Yeah.
Cool. So I scored 2,372. I can't complain too much about it. I climbed 321 ranks, so I think we were speaking, Jack. It was what 30 points difference, and you went down spots and I went up spots. So yeah, so it's just funny how that works. 20 points, it's a 340 rank difference. So, but yeah, I can't complain too much about my side. I did, though, make one of the greatest bloopers of Supercoach history as I VC'd Rory Laird and Captain Lockie Neal, who, funny enough, we're playing we're playing at the same time. Their games both started at the same time.
Was it Neil or Mills that you had?
Neil. Mills was for the break-evens. So shout out to the AFL for starting two games at the exact same time. What a bunch of muppets. So what that meant was instead of taking Lance 154, I was stuck with Neil's 121, which isn't the worst, but at this stage of the season, every point counts.
Think about all the rankings you would have jumped if that was switched.
Yep. I know. Don't tell me. So trade-wise for me, I will be doing my last two trades of the 2022 Supercoach season, and they are some risky ones, Jack. I will be trading out both Jared Witts and Darcy Cameron, who are at the moment my two starting rucks. And I'll be trading them to Todd Goldstein and Rowan Marshall. So the reasons behind
Jeez.
this is Paddy Ryder is out for 5 to 6 weeks, which is basically the season, which means Rowan Marshall is now the number one ruck down in St Kilda, and I feel like he's going to go absolutely nuts, so I've put him in. And I've decided to go Todd Goldstein over Max Gawn, Jack. I had the money there for Max Gawn, but I've gone Goldstein pure just off his recent form. Max Gawn has been not scoring as well since he came back from that injury. But he does usually tear it up towards the end of the season, but just got it on form. Goldstein has been a lot better, and he has the softer draw for ruckman. So I've gone form and the remaining fixtures, and that's how I've landed on Todd Goldstein. So we will see how that plays out for my side. Time to make some moves. Those are my moves. So 0 trades left. Let's hope there's no injuries, eh? All right.
Well, I've only got the one left.
Yeah. So it's risky time. So, all right, I'll go into the VC options. Funny enough, most of them are in the same game. So first off, if Clary does play, which he should, and you want to risk it with Clary, he averages 134 over his last 3 versus the Dogs. That's on Saturday night, so that could be a VC or C option for you there. In the same game, Jack McRae, 141 versus Melbourne. Probably a little bit safer than Clary, but Clary's gone off this season, so you never know. Again, that's a VC and C option. The Bond, as you were talking about, Jack, 122 versus the D's. I feel like he could probably be the best option out of the 3, but depends if anyone like a Harms or someone plays a slight role in Bond. We'll see what happens there. Next, Zaki Merritt, 119 versus the Pies. That's the second game on the Sunday, so that would be a captain option for those going a bit risky. Jack Steele, 128 versus the Eagles. Again, that's on the Sunday. It's the last game, so it's captain. Could absolutely tear it up. Now we'll move to our roughy picks, Jack. And there's a few real roughies in here. So James Sicily averages 104 against the Roos. You think 104 is not that much, but it's the Kangaroos who basically shithouse, and you wouldn't really want to lose to them. That's the first game on the Saturday, so that's a VC option. Sinclair from St Kilda versus the Eagles, last game on the Sunday. Obviously, this is a breakout year for Sinclair, so he doesn't have the history, but similar with Steele, it's the Eagles, so it could be a very, very cheeky captain option. Christian Petrarca doesn't have a great record versus the Dogs, but at round 1 of this season, he scored 163 against them. So that's a Saturday night, so that's a VC or C. Max Gawn versus the Dogs, and more importantly, against Tim English, who isn't in the greatest of form at the moment.
They're both aren't, to be honest.
Yeah, so Max Gawn can definitely turn it on, especially against the lighter body of English. So that's another VCC there for the Saturday night.
Didn't English go well in round 1, but?
Yes.
I think he's got like a 130 or something like that.
135, I believe, yes. Josh Dunkley, 138 versus the D's. Hasn't been in the greatest form, of 60 and then 80 consecutive weeks. Not great, but could he bounce back against the side he averages 138 against? Let's see. That's another VC or C. And the biggest roughie of them all, who shouldn't be a roughie, you should just captain him from for the next 15 years. Nick Dacos has an average of 135 over his last 3 games. And he plays the Bombers. So that's the second game on the Sunday. You can captain him if you have him. Jump straight on him. I reckon he could be the first rookie to score over 200 Super Coach points in a game in their first season. So jump on Nick Dacos.
The next 15 years.
Yep.
You just called that he's going to have a 16-year career. That's
Yeah.
a big call.
Yeah, so 16 seasons, 15 Brownlows. Simple.
What happens if he does 10 ACLs in the next 10 years?
He'd still win 15 Brownlows. Is that good?
He doesn't play and he wins it by default.
Yes. Alrighty, we'll move on to the break-even side. So the break-even side scored 2,331 and dropped 546 ranks, which isn't great. Now ranked at 13,225th, so not too bad. Let's hope to get under that 10K. Jack, again, I have to apologise. I stuffed up again. I didn't take Lairds 154, which meant we copped Callum Mills 116. We lost points there. I apologise.
That's a good fucking 40 points there.
Yeah, well, just think about it. If it's a double, it's about 80.
Yeah.
So I apologise. I have to start logging into break evens on those.
Just
on
don't do it
those
this
nights.
week because I've got the break evens against me. So feel free to not do it this week.
Oh, I'm definitely doing it this week. Trade wise for the break even, it's just the one trade this week, and that is Darcy Cameron out for Rowan Marshall, which I think will be a popular trade this week, seeing that Brady Grundy's back. That leaves us with one trade left for the season. So if anyone goes down, it's an easy swap there. Or in the next couple of weeks, if there's no injuries, we can go a Jaden Short or a Paddy Cripps up to someone. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Now for all that, we'll get into the games and the hot and cold. So Jack, you had the first game, which was the Dogs versus the Saints.
I did, and the Dogs won by 28 points. Straight into the hots. The Bond had 181, Libber 131, McRae 128, Dale 118, Richards 114, and for the Saints, Wilkie 134, Sinclair and Steele both had 133, Josh Battle 114, and Jack Billings had 105. Getting into the colds, Trelaw 99, that 1 point stiffness, but he can get stuffed. Josh Dunkley an 80, Tim English a 51, and for the Saints, Jade Gresham 77, your boy Marshall only a 69, and Paddy Ryder is injured for the season.
Yep.
And that's all.
That's all you had? Awesome. So I had the Crows versus the Pies. So the Pies won by 5 points in a close game. We hung on. Should have been a lot more, but I think we sort of went to sleep towards the end. The hots for the Crows, though, Rory Laird, as I've mentioned multiple times, 154. Sam Berry, 121. Tex Walker, 118. Brody Smith, 100. I've put Phil Thorpe in here with 94. As I said, the 15-time Brownlow medalist Nick Dacos, 163 Supercoach points. Jack, your boy, Pat Lipinski, 116. Pendles, 110. And Maynard, 109. As we move to the colds for the Crows, I've put Jordan Dawson with a 92, Ben Keys with a 61, and Rob with a 53. And for the Pies, your man, Jack Crispy, 91. And you'd probably say that's a hot for him, but it's definitely a cold. And
That's a hot for him.
and Darcy Cameron with a 78, and that's it for that game. Now I'll be taking the next game as well. So it's the Giants versus the Lions, and the Lions won by an easy 40 points. The hots for the Giants: Sammy Taylor 134, Harry Himmelberg 132, Isaac Cumming, my boy who I brought in 109, and Toby Green turned up with 101. As we move over to the Lions, Hugh the Suitcase McCluggage 150, Reese Beast Mode Matheson 122. He averages 122 in Supercoach at the moment because that was his first game. Lockie Neal 121, Gideon Coleman 119, Darcy Fort 112, Dan McStay 105, and Jack, I've left him to last. Cam Rayner 106. It's taken him 18 rounds and he's finally turned up.
And he won't do it again.
He probably
at least for this season.
The Colts for GWS, Tim Taranto with an 85. As Jack said, Josh Kelly, concussion, he scored 62 and he's out for 1 week. Tom Green, for those who have kept him, he's starting to sputtered up big time with 49. And Jacob Hopper, I think in his first game back with a 39 there.
Yeah, I think it was Hopper's first game.
As he moves to the Lions, talking about Lions, Jared Lyons, 78, Zach Bailey, 52, and Joe Danaher with a 26. And Jack, you had the next game, which is the Roos versus the Bye.
It was. And give me 1 second. Going into the hots for North Melbourne, we got Goldstein 135, Cam Zerha. I'm never going to say his name as a hot again. That's the peak of his career, 120. Jai Simpkin 119, Luke Davies-Uniacke 110. Jaden Stevenson also played the best game he'll ever play in his career with 104.
Except
and
for
Hugh
that,
Greenwood. Hey?
Except for that one game where he bet on himself and he kicked 4 goals.
Hugh Greenwood 102. And lastly, we've had a record. Aiden Bonner has scored his highest score of the season, and it was a 46. Hey! And it happened against the Tigers.
You love to see it.
Getting into the hots for Richmond, Nick Vlaston, 141. Noah Cumberland in his real debut, 101. And Jaden Short, 100. Getting into the Colts, Nick Larkey got injured. Don't know what it was. Don't know if he's out or not. He just got subbed. It was a weird one.
I can check. I actually didn't even know that he got injured, to be honest.
I mean, I was watching the game and then out of nowhere, they're like, Nick Larkey subbed. I didn't see him for the whole fucking game and he got subbed.
It says heel and it says he's a test.
Josh, that's it for North Melbourne's Colts.
Yep.
Getting into Richmond's, Josh Gibkiss did his shoulder. It was quite a surprise, actually. I don't know how long he's out for or if he's missing weeks.
Test.
The test, yeah. He was actually the second ruck.
Oh.
Noah Bolter played as the second key forward, and Gibkiss was the second ruck, which he actually did a pretty good job on Callum Coleman-Jones, which, I was calling for, I think you know this, I was calling for Samson Ryan to get the call in to see the showdown of the Spuds, but I didn't get it, sadly. Shai Bolton, a 55, Liam Baker, like I said before, 61, and Dan Rioli, a 78. And that's all I've got for that game.
You don't want to comment on anything, just like arts being spud?
All I heard was Richmond still trying to look for the goals at Punt Road. They seem to not be able to find them.
All right, well, I'll take you out of your misery. I'll go on to the next game, which was the Blues versus the Cats. The Cats won by a comfortable 30 points. Sammy Walsh, 126, Nick Newman, 109, and Adam Chera, 103. for the Cats, Joel Selwyn 115, Zach Tui 103, Mark Blitzars 102, and I've put Jeremy Cameron and Tommy Hawkins with a 99 and 98 each. As we move over to the Colts, these are all a bit stiff, maybe apart from one. Well, the first three anyway. So George Hewitt 94, Sam Dockery 93, Paddy Cripps 84, Adam Sard 71, and Jacob Weedon with a 32. And for the Cats, Cam Guthrie 84, Dangerfield with 71, and Sam Meningola with 14. He got concussed, and it says 1 to 2 weeks, which means that might be a touch and go for the second game there. So if anyone does have him, which I highly doubt, you'd have to keep an eye on that. But Jack, you had Freo versus the Swans as the next game.
I did, and the Swans won by 17. Getting straight into the hots for Freo, Luke Ryan, your boy, 128.
Every time
right, now onto
you have Freo games, every time he turns up.
Yeah. And now onto the Swans. Chad Warner, 148, and he's looking like a real baller. Someone to keep an eye out for next year. I definitely am.
Yep.
Robbie Fox, probably won't say his name in the hots again. He's another one. He scored 135, surprisingly. Good on him. Callum Mills, 116. Errol Goulden, 113. Tom Papley.
He's someone I'm looking at, Errol Goulden, for next year.
Him and Warner both look like class.
Yep.
Tom Papley, 106. And believe it or not, Isaac Heaney actually turned up. He got 104. He was on like 50 at three-quarter time, and I stopped caring. And he scored 104. Getting into the colds, you could say the first two are tough, but it's Hamish's brother, it's Andy Brayshaw at 96.
You got there.
Sean Darcy at 94. And then we got Will Brodie in 84, 5 for 65, and the breakout king, Caleb Sarong, with a 53. Colds for the Swans are Lloyd. I haven't been able to say his name often this year. Scored a 96. And Luke Parker a 92. And that's all I had for that game.
Yep. I'll go on to the next one, which is the Hawks versus the Eagles, and the Hawks won by 25 points. James Sicily, 114, just keeps chugging along. Your boy Jack Moore, 113. Lukey Bruce kicked 6 with 112. Jack Scrimshaw, 100. And Josh Ward, 99, has finally gone big there. As we move to the Eagles, Tom Barras, 149. Alex Witherden, 116. Shannon Hurd, 102. And Jack, your boy Jai Cully, with a 90. I've put him in. The Colts for the Hawks, I've only put one because most of them are shit anyway. So I've put Jaeger O'Meara with a 63. And for the Eagles, Tim Kelly with an 80. Callum Jamison with a 64. And he, a bit of a sore adductor. He was subbed out, but he's a test. And Brady Hoff with a 28. And that's all I had for that game. And that means Jack will take you through his last game of the round, which was the D's versus Port.
And with a surprise, Port actually played very well against them, but still lost by 14.
Yep.
Getting straight into the hots, we got Petrarca with 141. He only scored that because Oliver was out. Don't get your hopes up. Next week will be an 80. Cozzy Pickett, another one, scored 110. He won't score that again for the next 6 years.
Yeah, kicked 5 or 6 or something there.
Kicked 6 goals. Yeah. That's his game for the next 5 years done, like Cam Zohar. Bailey Fritsch, 101. And for Port, we got Connor Rosie, 116, who's actually the last month, 2 months has been very good and consistent. Carl Amon, 115. Dan Houston, 109. And Another interesting one, Willem Drew scored 107. He's also been pretty good this year for Port when he's
He's
played.
he's very underrated. He usually scores well and does a bit of a defensive job as well.
Yeah, getting into the colds, Jake Lever's hurt his shoulder. He's a test for this week. I'm pretty sure he played through the game, but so good on
Yeah.
him. Maxi Gorn with a big score of 50. Jack Varney with a big score of 71. And Hamish's second brother, Angus, with a massive score of 77. Getting into the Port Colds, Trav Boga, 96. He seems to be sitting in those high 90s the last month or two, which could be a bit tough. I don't know. I don't watch the Port games. Ollie Wines, an 87. Good thing I didn't jump on him. He's not replicating his season last season. And Zach Butters was it his return or was it his second game?
I think it might have been return.
One of the two, he only scored a 74, which is not good as well. And that is me done.
Yep, just one thing. Bryn Teakle could be a chance to play this week. He got through training and could be available. So that could be someone to make some extra dosh if you have the trades, or someone just to cover if Timmy English is out for a week again, which seems to be happening a lot. All right. I had the last game, which was the Bombers versus the Suns, and surprisingly, the Bombers won by 48 points. I always thought they were a chance to win, but not by that much. Jack, I do have to apologise. I told you to get Jack Chris, but this man, even though he was injured at the time, has come out and absolutely dominated. That's Mason Redmond's 152.
I did call it right before he went off.
Yeah. It looks like he's taken Jordan Ridley's role that we've liked so much. So 152 for him. Dylan Shield, 145. Zachy Merritt, 136. Sammy Draper, 113, and went for a bit of a run and snapped the goal. Everyone's going crazy, but I did that at the age of 13, so I should be rocking for the Bombers at the moment. It's a bit overhyped because he's a big man, but I've done it, so shut up. Nick Hyde, 107. Jordan Ridley, 101. Eddie McGrath, 100. And Nick Martin with a 97. And the only hot four Gold Coast, Tuk Tuk, 110. As he moved to the Colds. I haven't put any Colds for the Bombers, just because the people who didn't score well, you'd expect not to score well. So I've got no one there, and the Colds for the Suns, Noah Anderson with 85, Jared Witz with 78, Matty Rowell 58, and Isaac Rankin with a 39. Jack, is there anything you want to say? Possibly, what are your VC and C options for this week?
My VC and C, so I'm going the bunt into Steele.
Oh, nice. Nice, yeah. I'm not 100% sure at the moment. I could go with Brayshaw.
I reckon Brayshaw's a massive sneaky. I like the looks of him this week. I just don't have him in my team to do it.
Yeah, I see. I've got that. I can also possibly VC someone in the Bulldogs Melbourne game, and then I could captain Rowan Marshall, who's playing West Coast. That's if I wanted to go risky.
That is beyond risky. That is as risky as you get.
Yep, so I'll see what happens there. But I'm pretty sure the break-evens, we've gone Brayshaw into... Who did we say, Jack?
It was Jackson McRae, wasn't it?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Yeah, it was either McRae or Oliver. But yeah, Brayshaw VC, one of those two captains. So, all right, that'll do us for tonight's podcast. Tell us what your rank is, and if you're doing any trades, what are you doing? You can let us know on Twitter at BreakeVensPod or on YouTube, search for Breakevens and put in the comments there. Thank you all again for your support and for listening and watching on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. As I said, don't forget to hit us up on Twitter at Breakevens Pod and on YouTube at the Breakevens. So good luck to everybody for round 19. And on that note, as always, until next week, it's bye for now.
See ya.